Good evening. This is the San Benito CISD regular board meeting. It's Tuesday, January 17th, 2017, and it is 6:30 p.m. Agenda item number one, I call this meeting to order. Agenda night, where's the gavel? We better.
We need a gavel.
Who took the gavel? Just bang your fist.
You got it?
Go on.
Okay, now we can do it right. I call this meeting to order. We do have an established quorum. Agenda item number 2 is roll call. Mr. Medrano?
Here.
Mr. Vargas?
Here.
Mr. Mendez?
Here.
Mr. Padilla?
Here.
Mr. Leal? Here. Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Dr. Vega?
Here.
And our attorney, Tony Torres. Okay. At this time, I will turn it over to Mrs. Longoria.
We would like to ask you guys to please stand for a moment of silence. We just recently found out about the death of one of our former employees, and Joyce Taubert was with the district for a number of years. She had spent 35 years with San Benito CISD, working in the Human Resources Office. She had a total of 39 years of educational service. So at this time, if y'all would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Michael Vargas, Secretary for the Board, and he's going to be introducing the students that are here to do the pledge and invocation. And we have some students from Ed Downs Elementary. Nidia Espinosa is the principal there, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Vargas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Longoria. We have two students who are representing Ed Downs Elementary. The first one we have is Mr. Abraham Garcia, who is 10 years old. He is the son of Armando and Cristina Garcia. He is currently a 5th grader at Ed Downs Elementary. He is engaged in many activities, organizations on and off campus, such as San Benito Taifa Football, UIL Science Fair, and the Ed Downs Spelling Bee. He is a member of the National Future Farmers of America organization, where he competes year-round through the state of Texas. Fishing, golfing, and traveling are some of his favorite hobbies. He is a straight-A student, with math and science being his favorite subjects. Next, we have Miss Emily Francis Cruz. Miss Cruz is the daughter of Alberto and Bobby Joe Cruz. She is a 10-year-old 5th grader at Ed Downs Elementary, where she is a member of the Starlets Drill Team, Girl Scouts, Yearbook Club, Drama Club, and the Battle of the Bluebonnet Books. When Emily isn't occupied with her club duties, she is looking for ways to excel and help both socially and academically. She is a well-rounded student, and her favorite subjects include reading and art. Some of her biggest accomplishments are consecutive A honor roll in 1st through 4th grades, and consecutive top achiever in 1st through 4th grades, and impressively, level 3 performer in all of her STAR exams. So congratulations to her. There is no doubt she will continue to thrive in all of her endeavors. So if you help me welcoming Abraham and Emily. Now, if everybody can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then followed by invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Please bow your heads. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our considerations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are good of all, and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Abraham and Emily. If we can have the parents of Abraham and Emily please stand to be recognized. Thank you for what you do. And finally, Ms. Espinosa, if you're in the crowd, thank you too, principal of Ed Downs Elementary.
Agenda item number 5, and at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Longoria.
Special recognition listed on the agenda this evening, and this evening it's a very special time to honor our school board members. So I am going to turn it over to Dr. Adrian Vega, our superintendent. He has a proclamation from Texas Governor that he's going to read so that y'all can get a little better understanding as far as what does School Board Recognition Month signify and the importance of it.
Thank you, Ms. Longoria. So this is an official proclamation from the governor of the state, the great state of Texas. In Texas, we place immense value in our youth. We protect them, guide them, and are always working toward a better tomorrow to secure our young people's bright and precious futures. We also understand the tremendous value of education in young people's lives and strive to ensure our state provides our youth with the opportunity to receive a rigorous and well-rounded education that will function as the foundation upon which their dreams will be built into reality. School boards play a vital role in our effort to develop education in the Lone Star State as they work with parents, education professionals, and community members to create successful learning environments. While each day brings new challenges for Texas public schools and the students they serve, school board members, along with other dedicated school officials, have tackled these challenges as opportunities to discuss important issues, develop innovation solutions, and empower educators. At this time, I encourage all Texans to join in celebrating the work and success of our many school board members across Texas who play an important role in the education of Texas's youth. The children we nurture right now will become the leaders of our state and nation in the future. Therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim January 2017 to be School Board Recognition Month in Texas and urge the appropriate recognition whereof, in official recognition whereof, I hereby affix my signature this, the 15th day of December 2016. And this is officially from the Governor of the state of Texas.
Thank you, Dr. Vega. Our department went ahead and obtained some information about some highlights of our board members up to this date on some of the things that, as a board, of course, working together with Dr. Adrian Vega, our superintendent, you all have accomplished together as a team. And when you walk outside in a little bit to go to the reception, you're going to be able to see a display that has a complete summary of some of the major highlights and some of the things that y'all have accomplished as a board. Among those are, of course, the approval of the efficiency audit, including the curriculum and the efficiency and curriculum audit, and also the approval of the 5-year strategic plan. Those were some of the major rocks or major projects that y'all as a board obviously undertook, of course, with the direction of Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Adrian Vega. Also highlighted in the information that we're putting out for y'all is first, the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas gave the district superior rating for its financial status. And there's other items as well. Of course, the approval of the tax rate and the budget. Also, you know, the district of, as trustees, you all gave approval to the purchase of vehicles for district staff. It had been years since that had happened. So I'm sure the different departments thank you all for that, and they're better off. Obviously, very very desperately needed in our district because these are some of the vehicles that either transport our employees, transport our children, such as school buses, vehicles for the police department, for the child nutrition program, for the building and grounds program, and various programs like that. So also some dual enrollment courses that were approved by y'all as well. As far as facilities are concerned, y'all have seen a lot of work taking place. That is also highlighted on our web pages for y'all to see under the Building and Grounds Department. So there's been a lot of work that has taken place. And one of the things also that you all approved as a board is a full-day pre-K, if you recall, for this particular school year. So there's been a lot of work that has taken place, obviously, but it takes everyone working together. So I just wanted to mention some of those highlights, major highlights. We do have them posted on the web. We also posted them on our social media page. So y'all are welcome to look at them at your leisure. And again, we have a board on display that kind of spells out all of the highlights, major accomplishments so far. We also have another bulletin board up at the front, and we'd like to ask you guys to check it out as well. And in addition to that, we've also been promoting the fact that it's School Board Recognition Month in the local newspapers. So again, you know, we thank you for the jobs that you do. We know that you don't have an easy job. You spend a lot of time away from your family, a lot of time away from tending to other needs in order to sit here and make those tough decisions. And you do it with grace, and I know with a lot of headaches involved, but I'm sure that for y'all in the end it is worth it, and y'all are making attempts to do it in the best interest of the district and to continue moving the district forward. So we thank you and we applaud you for everything that you do for our San Benito CISD and for our community as well, because in the end, we both benefit. So we will start with a presentation of the board members. And we're gonna start by calling the board members first. At the end, if we'd like to ask all the board members to remain up at the front so that we all can take a picture at the end before we break for the reception. So Dr. Vega already read the proclamation from the governor's office, and we're gonna get started with a presentation. We do have student representatives from the different campuses that are joining us this evening, and parents, we thank you for bringing your children out here. We also have some principals that are joining us here as well. Principals, thank you for all your help and support in making sure that these students are here joining us this evening. So the first board member on the list, we have Joe G. Gonzalez. And Mr. Gonzalez has been a trustee since May 2005, but he previously served from 1998 to 2011. So we have student representatives from La Encantada Elementary. And if we can please have them join us up at the front. From La Encantada Elementary, student representatives Jasmine Lara and Victor Hernandez. And from Judge Oscar de la Fuente Elementary, Kayla Joe Rodriguez and Saul Tesiga. And thank you, students, for joining us this evening. Parents, again, thank you. The tote bag that you see there that is being presented to the board members, that's being presented on behalf of the executive directors from the district. So it has a lot of goodies in there as well. They're also getting certificates and certificates of appreciation as well. So thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for your service on the board. Thank you, students. Thank you. The next trustee that I'd like to call on is Hector G. Leal. He has been a trustee since 1993. So let's give him a hand. Over 20-something years. We have student representatives from Fred Booth Elementary and Rangerville Elementary that will be doing the presentation for Mr. Leal. From Fred Booth Elementary, we have Sofia Hernandez and Carolina Guerrero. And from Rangerville Elementary, we have Christian Lopez and Jeremiah Osorio. Good job, boys and girls. And thank you, Mr. Leal, for your service. The next board member that we'd like to honor this evening is Mr. Angel Mendez. He's been on the board since 2014. Mr. Mendez. And we have students from Dr. C.M. Cash Elementary and also from Gateway to Graduation Academy doing the presentation this evening. From Dr. Cash Elementary, we have Julian Montes and Lily Marroquin. And from Gateway to Graduation Academy, we have Brandy Cassandra Lynn Vargas and Elaine Marie Torres. Thank you, Mr. Mendez. The next trustee on the list is Mr. Arnold Padilla. He's been on the board since 2014. And we have student representatives from Ed Downs Elementary and Berta Cavazza Middle School doing the honors for Mr. Padilla. From Ed Downs Elementary, you met them earlier, Emily Cruz and Abraham Garcia. And from Berta Cavazza Middle School, we have Ernesto Oberlin Garcia and Felipe Estrella. And I believe these students from Berta Cavazza Middle School are in the LOTC program, or the Leadership Officer Training Corps program. So thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you, Mr. Padilla. Now we're going to move on to our officers of the board, and we're going to start with our secretary of the board, Mr. Michael A. Vargas. He's been a trustee since 2015, and we have 3 campuses making the honors. We have Angela Jerusa Leal Elementary, Dr. Raul Garza Jr. Elementary, and San Benito High School that are doing the presentations. From Angela Leal Elementary, we have Allison Ortega and Madison Ortega. From Dr. Raul Garza Jr. Elementary, Angelina Vargas and Andy Vargas. And from San Benito High School, Deandra Marie Padilla and Bianca Anaí Moreno. Thank you, Mr. Vargas. Thank you. Our next board member to be honored is Oscar Medrano. He is our vice president. He's been a trustee since 2008. He previously served from 2003 to 2005, filling an unexpired term after the untimely death of one of our longtime board members, Mr. Gilbert Montalvo. So, Mr. Medrano, congratulations. We have 4 campuses that are doing the honors. Frank Roberts Elementary, Miller Jordan Middle School, Riverside Middle School, and Joe Calandra Positive Redirection Center. From Frank Roberts Elementary, Marisa Ann Ibarra Sandoval and Rene Leroy Treviño. From Miller Jordan Middle School, Ruby Martinez and Evan Haiseth. From Riverside Middle School, Mia R. Lopez and Elijah Storm Hernandez. And from Joe Calandra Positive Redirection Center, Dominic Gonzalez and Josue Uriegas. Ana Cruz is our school board president, and so she will be the last one to be called, saving the best for last. She's been a school trustee since 2012, and we have some campuses making the presentations this evening from Landrum Elementary, La Paloma Elementary, Sullivan Elementary, and Veterans Memorial Academy. So we can have those students please step forward. From Landrum Elementary, we have Allison Rodriguez and Hector Hernandez. La Paloma Elementary, Misle Munoz and Jana R. Richmond. Sullivan Elementary, Alexa Cortez and Rafael Cantu. And Veterans Memorial Academy, we have Jasmine Marroquin and Romeo Garcia. Thank you so much. Now, board members, if we can have you guys all come up at the front. Please join us up at the front, just briefly. And also at this time, if we can ask Dr. Adrian Vega, our superintendent of schools, to also join us up at the front. As you all know, Dr. Adrian Vega recently completed his first year as the district's top leader. And of course, together, he works closely with these 7 board members. And with a teamwork concept in mind, and in working as a team, continuing to move the district forward, please help me to congratulate our Board of Trustees, of course, joined by our Superintendent of Schools, the team of 8, the All-Star team. Thank you so much. Also, at this time, I'd like to ask that the parents of the students that are joining us this evening, if y'all can stand and be recognized at this time. Thank you, parents. Thank you, students. And thank you to the campuses for participating in today's ceremony. I know we all have our principals here in the audience as well, so thank you all so very much. At this time, our mariachi, under the direction of sponsors Karina Vela and Avigui Gonzalez, are scheduled to perform. And we'd also like to give a special thanks to Dairi Mendoza, who is our director of bands, and he is joining us here this evening as well, supporting the mariachis.
Tendrás más amores conmigo. Yo te juro que no volveré, aunque me haga pedazos la vida. Si una vez con locura te amé, ya de mi alma estarás despedido. Te lo juro por Dios que me mira, te lo digo llorando. Fuimos nubes que el viento apartó, fuimos piedras que siempre chocamos, gotas de agua que el sol resecó, borracheras que no terminamos. En el tren de la ausencia me voy, mi boleto no tiene regreso, lo que tengas de mí te lo doy, pero no te devuelvo tus besos. Te lo juro por Dios que me mira, te lo digo llorando de rabia, no volveré. Hasta ver que mi llanto ha formado un arroyo de olvido anegado, donde yo tu recuerdo ahogaré. Muchas gracias. ¡Tócala mi mariachi! Guadalajara, Guadalajara. Guadalajara, Guadalajara.
A verde jara fresca del río, son mi paloma, es tu caserío. Guadalajara, Guadalajara, tienes el alma dada.
Ay, ojitos de agua, hermano.
Hay colomitos inolvidables, inolvidables, como las tardes en que la lluvia desde la loma no nos dejaba ir a Zapopan.
Ay, 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 ay. Quiero decirte una cosa.
Tú que conservas agua del pozo de tus mujeres, lo más hermoso. Guadalajara, Guadalajara, tienes el alma más mexicana.
Ay, 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 ay. Guadalajara.
At this time, again, I'd like to thank the Mariachi del Sol and their sponsors. And thank you all for supporting programs such as these for the fine arts. We appreciate it, and so does the community. Also at this time, I'd like to ask if we have any of the board members' family members in the audience, if y'all can stand and be recognized at this time. Family members of our board. So thank you all for coming over to support our board members here. Of course, we know they spend a lot of time away from home taking care of business for San Benito CISD. And once again, we thank you all, and we do have a reception that hopefully everybody will enjoy. I don't know, Dr. Vega, if you want to say anything else?
So before we break, I personally want to thank each of you. So for this Board Appreciation Month, I just wanted to tell each of you it's been an honor to work with each of you this month. I wanted to let you know that I appreciate and am thankful for your support and your leadership, because without your support and leadership, we would not be able to move the district forward and support our children and support our parents. So once again, on behalf of myself and my family, I personally want to thank you for all of your support and leadership. So now we'll have a reception, and please make sure y'all thank the board members for all that they do for each of us. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and return back to our meeting. Agenda item number 7 is the superintendent's report, and at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Vega.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz, Madam President, as well as Board of Trustees. Very, very excited to share a number of things with you on the teaching and learning side of the house under the superintendent's report. As you know, we are in the business of educating kids. And so last month we presented out, I gave a report on our financial state, and actually later in the agenda there's an agenda item to approve the external audit report, the official external audit report. But what I wanted to do is share with you a number of initiatives that we have undertaken on the teaching and learning side of the house, on the instructional side of the house. And so it's actually appropriate that the first item is the update of our strategic plan. But for this month, once again, each month we are going to share out a component of the strategic plan. And so 5 months ago, or in August, that was the first time we heard an update on the curriculum and instruction component of the strategic plan. And each succeeding month, you've heard an update on a different aspect. Well, we're right back to where we were, and so now we're in the first week of the second semester, and it's time to hear what progress has been made by way of the strategic plan in the area of curriculum and instruction. And then after that, we have a few other reports that we're going to share with you in terms of our instructional initiatives. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Ortiz, and we're going to hear what we've been doing in the area of curriculum and instruction.
Good evening. Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Vega, members of the audience. I'm here to share today an update on our Reimagine 2021 as it refers to our curriculum and instruction. And if I may, I would like to give you all a copy of what I'm going to be presenting. So if we go to the third page, which is Year 1, Priority 1. Year 1 goal is to implement a uniform elementary and secondary curriculum consistently throughout the district. And so I'm going to touch just on a couple of updates. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we did go through some of it during the August meeting. But we have finished writing the curriculum for the first through third 6 weeks. Our curriculum writers have been diligently working on that, and that has been shared with the teachers, and we're getting feedback as we go along. Our pre-kindergarten teachers have also received a second round of training in the month of December, so they went through that as well. And we have a lot of things that we're preparing to work on for the spring semester. Among those, we will continue doing the curriculum writing. And we also have a training for curriculum writers, which will be provided by TASA. And we are scheduling that to make sure that our teachers have a deeper understanding of curriculum writing and also developing rigor. Teachers teaching teacher sessions will continue throughout the year. We actually have another one coming up later this week. And we are also, at this point, looking for our content area specialists, which will be hired to assist in specific needs of reading ELA, mathematics, science, and social studies. For priority number 2, which is in regards to our professional development, some of the things that we've done during the fall semester is to request feedback from the principals to make sure that we are providing professional development that is relevant to campus needs. We have also met with Region 1 to align the ILA sessions to the staff development provided, and you will receive some information on ILA later in the meeting today. Some of our next steps is we are developing a needs assessment to ensure that the needs of the students serve as the basis for our next round of staff development. And we are going to be presenting the spring staff development plan to the SAC later this week for approval, like I said, at this next meeting. Principals, deans, and assistant principals will be provided with training to analyze data and to help to determine the campus individual needs. So that is something that we have that's ongoing, and it's starting in the month of January. Priority number 3, the district will evaluate current software practices to ensure the integration of innovative and emerging technologies. So campuses have been divided between the technology specialists so that each one is in charge of a number of campuses. This will lead to a better understanding of the campus climate and also the campus needs. So that is something that we did in the fall semester. Some of our next steps, we are conducting a district study. We did present some information as far as the cost and program usage. Our next step now is to look at the reports that are available and to determine whether this is beneficial for our students. So that's our next step. The CNI committee will work in conjunction with the finance committee in regards to the technology program study as well, since it is also under the finance committee. Information is being studied to complete a rubric, which will be developed and used to determine which programs will continue to be used and which programs will not be. Instructional technology specialists will provide trainings on software not being fully utilized in an attempt to increase usage and understanding of available programs. So as we started to conduct this study on our programs, we found that there were some programs that campuses needed some additional training. So we've been focusing on that during the fall, and it's continuing into the spring. So that way they can provide that for our campuses. Priority number 4, which is the development of a student profile regarding skills and expectations for student success. In this area, our next steps are going to be to research the programs that we have been exploring and share it with representatives from each campus before a program is recommended. Another thing that we will be focusing on during the spring semester is to make sure that these programs that we are looking at can be implemented, and we'll be looking at and researching other districts and other programs that have been successful. And then priority number 5 is in regards to our differentiated instruction. And so we are looking to make sure that the needs of all of our students are being addressed. We have a plan in place to review the PBMAS report and establish a priority list of areas of concern by subject area and subpopulation. The PBMAS report looks at our subpopulations such as our special education, bilingual ESL, migrant, and so forth. So we have been meeting to look at the data. Our next step in that sense is that we're going to provide targeted training in the areas that have been identified by PBMAS. Some of our other next steps, we have started, the curriculum department has started providing 18 varied instructional activities, strategies, and tools to principals. Support will continue to be provided to ensure understanding of the purpose, procedures, and learning principles. And this is something that Dr. Shelton has taken the lead on, and she has assisted us with that. We are also providing SIOP training, which is sheltered instruction for our teachers, and that'll assist with our English language learners, and that's going on this month as well. And that's it.
Ms. Ortiz, I have a quick question on priority number 3, the last two bullet points on the next steps, is that the study that Ms. Abrego had conducted and presented to the,
Yes, that's correct.
and
So
that's
she-
what we're taking the next, okay.
Yes, so she had presented on the cost and the program usage, and so now what we're trying to do is extract all the possible reports and all the data from those programs to see, are they being beneficial for our students and for our campuses? And that way we can make that final determination if it's something that we move forward with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. I do want to commend the staff because, as I've said every month, I mean, they're working extremely hard, and so I want to commend Dr. Shelton for her leadership, as well as Ms. Ortiz, as well as Mr. Trevino, and so we're all pulling together. As y'all know, we want to continue praying for Ms. Trevino and her recovery, and so I was joking with the leadership team. I was like, I'm going to try. It's going to take 2 or 3 of us to just do the work of Ms. Trevino, but we're going to try our best in her absence. And so we're all pulling together to make sure that we're continuing to move forward. So very excited about that. Every Friday when I give you my update as far as what's going on, I've shared with y'all a number of times about the instructional initiatives or leadership initiatives. But I guess what I wanted for y'all to hear is actually from the end users. And so there have been about 3 or 4 leadership instructional initiatives that we've begun this year. The Instructional Leadership Academy, that's where we bring all of our principals, assistant principals, deans, and RTI teachers together twice a month so that everybody's on the same page in the area of training and focal points. We've also begun the Leadership Prep Academy, which is that support to grow our own. It's for that next tier of aspiring leaders. We've also started a superintendent book club that meets every other Friday morning at 6 a.m. And what I had shared with the administrators was that you don't get any extra points. This is just if you want to come and meet with the superintendent and discuss leadership and ideas when it comes to what we do. I'm going to be available at 6 in the morning because that's when I'm available. And if y'all are interested, please join me if you'd like to. And then you've also heard about the teachers, Teaching Teachers initiative that's really focused on collaboration and growing everybody's capacity peer-to-peer. And so at this time, we have 4 individuals. They're just going to give a brief statement about these programs or these initiatives. And the reason that I wanted them to share is because they are the end users. It's one thing if I'm telling you about these initiatives, but it's also another thing to hear from the practitioners, if you will, what are they getting out of these initiatives. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask for Mr. Diaz, Rolando Diaz. He's the principal of Judge Oscar de la Fuente, and he's just going to say a few words about the Instructional Leadership Academy.
Madam President, esteemed board members, Dr. Vega, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you about the ILA, the Instructional Leadership Academy. I'm going to share with you just a few insights of what I've taken from attending my participation. The foundation of the ILA is collaboration in regards to having the principal, the assistant principal, the dean, and the RTI teacher all participating. We don't all participate at the same time, but throughout the week, we all hear the same message. Then when we get back to campus, we're able to disseminate that information to our staff. Since the beginning of the ILAs, 2 core areas have been adult learning and culture and climate. And those are the cornerstones of successful schools. Adult learning, because as professionals, we have to hone our craft. We have to get better at what we do. Culture and climate, because if we develop relationships with our students, with our staff, with our school community, schools do better. And so those are the cornerstones. Based on that, through the ILA, we've had the opportunity to receive training in various different concepts of what we do in the classroom on campus. One of them is PLCs, or professional learning communities, in regards to what we are doing and how prescriptive we are in targeting the needs of our campus. Every principal has their leadership team. Every campus has their specific needs. And so when we meet on our campus through our PLCs, we target what needs to be done to move our campus forward. Utilizing data, that's very important. and making sure that that data is used prescriptively to ensure that we are being successful. There's a lot of data out there. If we're not using it wisely, we're just spinning our wheels, so we have to be very prescriptive in how we use it. Teacher observation and feedback. If you talk to any of the members of the leadership teams from any of the campuses, they'll talk about being poolside. That's being in the classrooms, that's doing walkthroughs, that's being where the action is. Building teacher capacity, and Dr. Vega alluded to it a little while ago in regards to teachers teaching teachers. One of the things that we try to do as campus leaders is to bring out the best of our teachers. We have a wealth of talent in San Benito, very, very fantastic teachers. And what teachers teaching teachers allows them to do is to provide for all teachers to see what they're doing and to share with them. Seasoned teachers with 30 years, teachers with no experience coming out, they all have good ideas. They can share these ideas. And by building the capacity and telling our teachers on campus, you can do this, you can go and you can present. What you're doing in the classroom is good. Share it with everyone else, because ultimately it's not my campus or another campus, it's a district that we want to make look good. PBIS, which is our Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, that's about establishing relationships with our students, with our staff, with our parents. If we establish those good, strong relationships, that minimizes the inappropriate behavior, some of the discipline issues that come up, because at the end of the day, the parents know, the students know, and the staff know that we're in it together. Another takeaway that I took was validation. Throughout the ILA, seeing what is best practice, knowing that some of the things that Region 1 comes and shares, hearing what some of my colleagues have shared and saying, you know what, we're doing that on our campus, and we see that that is making impact. Opportunity for reflection. You know, it's challenging to be able to sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is something that I need to work on, something that I need to improve on. But participating in the ILA, that allows for us to do that. And finally, working together as a collective. We're working together through the ILA, networking, learning from each other, sharing with each other, so that we can become the gold standard for everyone else to try and imitate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Joanne Fernandez. She's an assistant principal at San Benito High School, and she's one of 16 in the first cohort of our Leadership Prep Academy.
Madam President, board members, Dr. Vega. My name is Joanne Fernandez, and I am currently employed with the school district as an assistant principal at San Benito High School. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to the board concerning the Leadership Prep Academies. Being in the education field a little over 20 years, I'm sure, and I'm sure many of you who have been in the field for a long time have been to your fair share of professional developments, trainings, workshops, academies. But I can tell you that without reservation, that this Leadership Prep Academy that's been designed by Dr. Vega is by far the most impactful and meaningful academy that I have been a part of. Much like the TEKS drive the instruction in the classroom, the principal standards are the foundation that every leader should look to when running their campus. Now, these standards are the main focus of our LPAs. As an administrator, we sometimes get caught up in the day-to-day running of the campus that we rarely look back at these standards. And this LPA helps us gain a better understanding of these principal standards and how we can utilize them for campus improvement. During each LPA meeting, one of the principal standards is discussed and dissected. And what makes this academy different from other academies is that it not only provides administrators the information they need, but it also provides them a forum to discuss with their colleagues exactly what it is that's going on their campuses. Being able to collaborate and discuss with your colleagues, it's vital in order to have growth on your campuses. In addition to these principal standards, outside readings are also incorporated into the academy to help mold the leader's perspective and change our way of thinking. When you're able to bridge this theory with the actual application on campuses, this is when you can see the positive improvements on the campuses and seeing us move forward. One thing that has stayed with me is Dr. Vega's statement that we must place key people in critical areas of leadership in order to see improvement. Now, this statement is absolutely true. However, as much as we pray these people don't fall from the sky, you know, it is vital for us to create these leaders, to train them and prepare them to better incorporate the district's visions on the campuses. And this is what the Leadership Prep Academy does. It helps build capacity within our district, and it helps build strong leaders that will move our district in the direction we want to see. I am a lifelong member of this community, so I do have a vested interest in the district, and I'm willing to do what it takes to help move the district forward. And I do believe that this Leadership Prep Academy is a step in the right direction. I feel honored and privileged to be part of this academy, and I hope the district continues to support Dr. Vega with this initiative. Thank you.
We also have Brenda Armatrani. She is also an assistant principal. She's at Miller Jordan, and she's one of the 30-plus individuals that has chosen to get up at 6 in the morning every other Friday to be part of the Superintendent Book Club.
Good evening. Dr. Vega, honorable school board members, and the San Benito community members. My name is Brenda Amatrani, and I serve you as an assistant principal at our beloved Miller Jordan Middle School. Go Cougars. Tonight, I welcome the opportunity to share with you and our community the impact of being part of our San Benito CISD Book Club. The book we have been studying is titled How the Mighty Fall and Why Some Companies Never Give In by Jim Collins, also the author of the book Good to Great. We are a school district, but we are also a company, and our service is education, building capacity, and customer service. So we studied companies the same way we study instructional strategies. Our focus is the customer, the students, parents, staff, and community. The customer is our San Benito family. The book club supports our development as school and community leaders. It provides opportunities to open discussions and sharing of ideas and experiences. It provides development of mutual respect of differing opinions. It provides opportunities to help others embrace and practice reflection, which is a large part of T-TESS, our teacher appraisal system. We practice these points and return to our campuses with a deeper understanding and appreciation of the people we are privileged to serve, which are our San Benito community members. We learn and experience that each person has his or her own unique perspective. We are all reading the same book. However, our perceptions are not all the same. So the book club helps build that sense of empathy and understanding required of us. We work to provide opportunities for students to become leaders of tomorrow. In the classroom, our teachers model leadership for our students. In San Benito CISD, teachers are leaders, but leaders are teachers too. So Dr. Vega, thank you for reminding us of this. These are the gifts that we walk away with after our book club sessions. We look forward to learning and sharing more with other leaders across the district and community. Tonight, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to share on behalf of the entire 6 a.m. Friday morning San Benito CISD book clubs. In celebration of School Board Recognition Month, thank you for serving our community.
And last but not least, we have a fourth grade teacher, Ms. Rebecca Aquino from Ed Downs, and she's going to just say a few words about the teachers teaching teachers.
Well, good evening, everyone, and I'm very honored and humbled to be here. I congratulate all of you on this special month that our governor has issued that so we can celebrate you. We're very proud of you guys and happy to have you because I'm also a parent of a student. And so I thank you. And then for Dr. Vega, we're still glad you're here. I mean, we're so glad. As part of the teaching community, I want to say that I want to say how grateful I am for this opportunity. It's wonderful to get to come together with teachers and get to bounce ideas off of each other, to understand and to get insight from other teachers. And you may be teaching the same thing and somebody says it in a different way, And you know when you present it to one student, a certain student, you're going to have that aha moment. As teachers, we live for the aha moments. And so I think this is an awesome program. I am very grateful. I know we have one coming up on Thursday. Usually having to attend meetings after school, it's a drag. But looking forward to it, knowing that you're going to actually learn something that you can actually put into your classroom the very next day. It's been a blessing to me and to a lot of my colleagues, and I just want to thank you for having that program available to us as teachers. Thank you.
So once again, I just wanted to provide the end users, principals, assistant principals, teachers, an opportunity to just share their thoughts on these initiatives that we've begun by way of developing leadership and instructional capacity. Before we hear from our monthly financial update, on letter C, I did want to bring this to your attention. At the last curriculum committee meeting, I know a request was made to share benchmark data and things of that nature. But we actually have, and we'll be providing that, but we actually have the results, the preliminary results from the end of course STAR that came out in December. And so I wanted to make sure that we brought that to y'all at this particular time. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Jenna Ortiz, and she's going to share this information with you.
Ma'am, give us an aha moment, please.
I will, sir. I'm going to go ahead and pass out some copies of the scores. So we did, as Dr. Vega mentioned, we did receive our scores for the 2016 December STAR EOC. Some of the things that I do want to point out, as I make some of the comments regarding last year's scores, this year we switched in the high schools to accelerated block schedule, which is different from what we had last year. And so for those in the audience that are not familiar with an accelerated block, students finish the coursework within one semester instead of being in the course throughout the whole year. So as we look at the scores for our Algebra 1, for example, last year in the spring, our algebra scores were 78% of our first-time test takers passed the algebra assessment. And as you look at the report, for our first-time test takers for San Benito, 83% of the students passed the STAR assessment during the December administration. Okay, so we do see a significant amount of growth for that group of kids. Also, the other thing I want to point out is that at this point, we don't have the PEIMS match to determine which students will be included for accountability. We also have not taken out those students that are first-year immigrants. In our accountability system, the way that it stands today, our first-year immigrant students are not included in accountability. And a lot of times those students have a difficult time because it is their first year in a new country. So our scores will be updated once we receive that information, which will be in the spring. Okay, so that's a couple of the differences that we'll see from last year's scores to this year's. When we look at biology, last year's passing rate for biology was 84% for the district. And we can see that we had 88% for the December administration. So again, we see a gain for that group of students. For our English 1, this is one that we will see a difference in the opposite direction, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a second. We had 61% of our students passing English 1 last year in the spring, and we have 44% passing in December. But our numbers tested in December are very low. You'll see that we have only 310. Just at the 9th grade campus, last year we had 755 students testing in English 1, and for the December administration, it is 283. What the campuses are doing is that they are focusing their efforts on students in the fall semester that we know need a little bit of extra assistance in English. So these students now have a second opportunity to take the test, whereas last year, when they took it in the spring, they only had that one opportunity. Okay, so it is with a purpose. English 2, we had 67% passing in the December administration, and we were at a 66 last year for spring. And for our U.S. history, we had 88% passing last year and 84% passing this year. Okay, so it is a little bit of a drop, but we're still within the 80s, and we have about half of our students testing in the spring. And then again, for our overall all subjects, we had 74% of the students passing this year in December, and we had 75% of our students passing when you look at all the data together last year. The other group of students that we haven't included in this report that we did in the spring is our 8th graders. The 8th graders will be testing in the spring. Okay, so that's another group of students, our 8th graders that take Algebra 1. Okay, do you all have any questions for me?
Can you go back to,
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I've got a question.
Think so.
Okay. We can go over. Okay. Okay.
Pues se apaga la mugre. Anyway, you got to hear 141 tested, 31 met the level. Okay? And then you have 143 tested and 31 met the level. Y acá dice 24%. But yet, we're getting other percentages, so I don't know how you're reading this, pero.
I was focusing on the first-time test takers, but definitely we can go over it in more detail.
Well, I understand, but still, you have a whole bunch of testing and not too many meeting it. And that's where I have a problem.
Okay,
Pero I'll go by your office and we'll discuss this some more.
definitely. Yes.
No, I think we're on the same page as far as trying to clarify what percentages to account for, because earlier you said that there was some that were declining and some that were increasing. I think if, for future references, if you could somehow identify the group of students that are being tested compared to last year's similar group, that would kind of give us a clear picture of what we're looking at. Secondly, you mentioned 2016 December. When does the STAR exam take place in December?
In December, it took place the 9th. It started the week of the 5th through the 9th, I believe.
Okay. And you mentioned something about the accelerated block. How, and I guess, Dr. Vega, how is that impacting our I guess, our high school from, I guess, VMA is also on block schedule, all the way up to 12th grade. So are these drops because of the accelerated block? Are we looking into that? What's going on in that sense?
Actually, these scores are better because of the accelerated block. Okay, so here's why. If you look for the first-time testers, let's say VMA, do you see where it says number tested?
Yes.
Only 339 were tested. Okay? Last year, when they were on a traditional schedule, they didn't test until the spring when all 700 plus tested. So what this allows us to do is, it allows the campuses to identify on the front end what are those students that might potentially struggle in math and English. They can take math and English the first semester. So in essence, the second semester, if they need help, they actually get a second shot at it. Okay? So this is actually better. So when you think about it, we had fewer students testing, and these were the ones that potentially were borderline, if you will. Okay? I know a number of students, and my son did not take algebra, or he did not take a couple of courses first semester because they weren't concerned as to where he might be the first semester. Now, he's in it now, so he's going to take it. So in essence, this is actually beneficial to the students who need additional support, okay? One of the things, and this also speaks to the intentionality of the decisions we make. If you recall, and it's going to be this time of year, it's already this time of year again, when we're going to start talking about master schedule, talk about staffing, etc. A year ago when I got here, the very first conversation, literally it was the very first conversation I had with Mr. Sanchez, was, can y'all please consider the possibility of going back to accelerated block? Because last year they were on a traditional schedule. And so we said, yeah, we'll look into it. And we were able to do that without providing additional staff and et cetera. So what we can do is we can provide you a side-by-side, but in essence, we're actually further ahead than what we were last year when it comes to the testing. So this is actually positive news, because we will be able then to now go back and tweak, and then the ones that we weren't as concerned about, or the campuses, then they should be able, these numbers should increase.
And how are these students identified in terms of needing remedial? Is it through benchmarking or?
What the campuses did at the end of last year is they requested the information, like for example, VMA requested the information for the incoming 8th graders. And so we provided that data for them so that they could determine what their schedules were going to look like for the coming year.
Thank you. At this time, we will continue with the superintendent's update, and it's our monthly financial statement. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Rendon.
Too much sugar. You see? Don't trust me. Good evening, Madam President, board members. I'm going to give you an aha moment. Yes, it is, sir. I give you that. Members of the community, I'm going to give a presentation on the financials for the month ending December 2016. I'm going to start off with the cash balance account. Our cash balance, liquid cash balance in the bank is $10,381,324.54. We have an investment balance of $37,038,202.47. Combined, $47,419,527.01. Following off into the student activity accounts. The ending balance for December 2016, combined between campus and student activities, is $449,403.35. Included in your package is the owners of those accounts. The 461 is a campus balances. The 865s are student activities. Next item is a comparison of the revenue to the budget for the month ending December 2016. Under the general operating funds, we have realized $48,015,220.34. We're anticipating $112,603,894, so we've collected 42.64% of the revenue. Under our special revenues, $3,548,760.87. We anticipate receiving $14,678,719.15. We've collected 24.18%. Under our interest and sinking, the state has sent us their portion of $1,631,805.61. We anticipate receiving at the end is $4,303,414. We've collected 37.92%. Just as a disclosure, that one is a little low because of the refunding of the bonds. TA is still playing catch up. So total for revenues, $53,195,786.82. That's 40.43% anticipated revenue. The following page is a comparison of the expenditures and encumbrances to the approved budget under the general operating fund. expenditures to date is $30,664,629.08. Anticipated in the general fund is $108,055,876. We spent 28.38%. Key figure on that one, if you go back into the first page, we received 42.64% and we spent 28. So we still have a cash flow. We're bringing in more money than we're spending. Under the special revenues, expenditures year to date is $4,158,982.65. We anticipate spending $15,160,254.15, which is 27.43%. Under interest and sinking funds, the expenditures are zero. Our bond payments are in February and in August. Year-to-date expenditures, $34,823,611.73. Our tax collection report. As of December 31st, 2016, the taxes we've collected is $7,823,383.74. Tax levy is $12,322,280.70. We've collected 63.49% of our tax. And then it goes into the check disbursements. If you all have any questions on any particular check. Thank you very much, and again, thank you for your support and this wonderful month of recognition for y'all.
Agenda item number 8 is public comment. At this time, we have no public comment. Agenda item number 9 is consent agenda. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of consent agenda. Consent items placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items are items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which superintendent recommends approval prior to the time which approval of consent agenda is had. At the request of any member of the Board of Trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. Agenda item number 10, which is the action agenda, under Business and Finance. 1701A-1, request approval of district audit, 2015-2016. Questions?
Yes.
Yes, no. I was just trying to, okay. So we do have a question. I was just trying to finish it, reading everything up. 1701A-2, request approval of contract for election services between San Benito CISD and Cameron County Elections Department. Question? Consent? Consent. 1701A-3, request approval of proposals received regarding PVC overlay roofing system for Dr. Raul Garza Elementary. Question? Consent. 1701A-4, request approval on upgrading campus video surveillance for Berta Cavazza Middle School. Question? Consent. Under administration, request approval of adopting a resolution concerning the A through F accountability rating system for Texas Public Schools. Question? Consent. 1701A-6, request approval of career and technical education courses for 2017 and thereafter. Question? Consent. 1701A-7, request for approval of board minutes. Question? Consent. Do I have a motion to approve consent items?
So moved.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh. I heard 3 voices. Okay. Okay, motion by Mr. Mendez? Okay, second by? Mr. Vargas. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Motion passes. We go back to, under Business and Finance, item 1701A-1, request approval of District Audit 2015-2016. Mr. Padilla?
First Chair, Board President, I apologize. I was not able to make the Finance Committee meeting, and for that reason, I just have a couple of questions. I'll try to keep it short. I know that we've got a lot of business ahead of us. So again, I just want to excuse myself first for not making the Finance Committee meeting. But I do have just 2 or 3 questions. One, page 70. Well, I was looking at the draft, so I don't know if the page numbers may be the same or not. The note on excess self-insured workers' compensation and the reclassification of the 1.2 or 1.3 million. Just, if you could just explain that to me. I fairly understand what it is, but I just want to make sure I'm correct.
Yes, sir. On that one, we closed it out. That is money that had been set aside for when we were self-funded.
Right. Okay.
And a decision was made that we are no longer self-funded, so we brought it back into the general fund.
Okay. Question with that would be, is general fund, or would it go to the, or would it be designated for the insurance excess?
I
Or
don't
any
think, I
coverage?
think it just became part of the general fund.
Okay.
We do have some money that's set aside now that we're fully funded, that we set aside every month, and then we do a reconciliation at the end of the year. And at that time, we kind of hold that money for the workman's comp, and we pay it out.
Okay, all right, thank you. The other one is page 68, the change in the inflows and outflows of excess of 5.3 million. That was
Mr. Quentin Anderson is here present. I think that has to do.
That was referencing the TRS, and I noticed it was a large change, so.
That's a complicated one.
Let's go over that, Mr. Padilla. Which page are you referring to?
Well, I was looking at the draft, which page 68. It still should be page 68.
Yes.
Yeah, there was 2 things, and again, difference between the projected and the actual investment earnings. And second was the change in the proration and the difference between the employer's contribution and the proportionate share of contributions, which was 5 million. I noticed there's large changes.
Right. Those are good questions. You're talking about the footnote that refers to the defined benefit pension plan that the school district participates in, along with all the Texas school districts in the state and here in the Rio Grande Valley. We participate in the teacher retirement system. And so the financial information associated with San Benito School District is provided directly by the teacher retirement system and the actuaries who made the computations regarding your pension obligation. I'm going to take you to a couple of pages that'll help clarify some of that information. But let's go first. To some supplemental information that the district has on page 75, Mr. Padilla. And you are on the right page. Those page numbers haven't changed, so you're on the right page within the footnotes. You're looking at the notes of the financial statements. There's a schedule that's required, supplementary information that shows the district's share of net pension liability associated with your employees, along with the state's share of net pension liability associated with your employees. And that total in the prior year, you can see was between you and the state was almost $48 million, $47.9 million, and that's grown during the current year to $63.8 million. And the reason that's grown is because of the changes in assumptions that have occurred within the teacher retirement system, and that's what those footnote disclosures are designed to help us gather as they relate to the district as a whole. So back on page 68, what's happened from one year to the next, There's an actuarial computation that gets made, and I can promise you I'm not an actuary, and actuarial science is a little bit different than accounting, but the actuaries have determined, based on demographics of your population, age, and estimated retirement dates, and compensation, and people coming in and people retiring, and various other assumptions, including what do the investments earn within a portfolio that supports teacher retirement. These assumptions are made, and the actuary makes a computation based on those assumptions. And then the next year, those assumptions were either exactly right or they were different than anticipated, right? And obviously, because they're assumptions and they're based on assumptions that the system as a whole has approved, some things are different than actually anticipated. So on page 68, that footnote is designed to say, hey, there were some differences between expected and actual economic experience. There were changes in assumptions. That means some more people retired or fewer people retired than we assumed. There were differences in projected and actual investment earnings. The funds in the plan made 10%, we thought they'd make 5, or they made 2%, we thought they'd make 8. And that is the biggest difference one of the bigger differences is the difference in projection and actual investment earnings. And then there's other changes in contributions and your proportionate share of contributions. Excuse me. And so this significant change in your net pension liability is something that's reflected in all of our local school districts, because we're all in the same plan. And what you have control over is not necessarily those assumptions, because the state runs a teacher retirement system and it has its own separate board. What you have control over is what you put in. And on page 76, if you look in the supplemental information, you're required to put in X dollar amount each year, and you budget for that, and you put that in. So you're funding what you've been instructed to fund by the state and through the actuaries, and that's what you have control over, and that's what impacts your budget. But the reason there's that footnote represents changes that occurred between the actuary's best guess and what really happened between one measurement date and the next.
Is that a common, the variance being, is that somewhat common? Because I don't think I've seen such a large variation between one year and the next.
Yeah, it's, I'd like to tell you that we have a whole lot of history to say this is common, but last year was the first year that this standard was implemented for all local governments, including Texas school districts. We adopted Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement Number 68. Your financial statements from the last year had a very large prior period adjustment to reflect this amount, and so I can tell you that and we probably are presenting about 10 different district financial statements. You take your neighbor Harlingen School District, similar type results in terms of the change in the net pension liability. And the questions that I've received from boards is, wow, it almost doubled. Did we hire that many more employees? And it had really nothing to do with that. And so it mainly has to do with the changes in actuarial assumptions and some of the changes that were intentionally made within the teacher retirement system. I can tell you, if we jump back into that page 68, just to let you know how assumption differences can impact you. On page 66, there's a great footnote. A portion of this footnote that I like is called the discount rate sensitivity analysis. And at a discount rate of 8%, that'd be a pretty good investment return over the term of our retirement career, right? We'd probably enjoy that. Your net pension liability, would be, your share of the net pension liability would be $23 million. If that rate were 1% better, that would almost be cut in half to $12 million. If that rate were 1% worse, it would be almost $37 million. And so little bitty changes, and that's just the earnings rate assumption, the discount rate assumption. Other things happen. People don't retire when you think they're going to. People employ, additional teachers. Salary scales aren't the same from one period to the next, and so those assumptions can significantly impact it. If we had 10 years of history with you implementing GASB 68, we could say, wow, is that customary and ordinary. Now, how does this impact your financial statement? It really doesn't impact you at a fund level, and you saw financial information that your CFO presented, dealing with where you stand in terms of receiving $48 million in revenues and spending $30 million in expenditures. That's how you budget and operate. And this disclosure and this net pension liability doesn't impact that fund balance or your actual budget. What impacts your budget is how much you're required to fund each period. So this was a standard that the Governmental Accounting Standards Board thought would be useful information. And we've had some governmental entities that had some bad experience and declared bankruptcy. We think about the city of Detroit, and oh wow, the city of Detroit has a whole bunch of pension obligations, and who's going to pay for them now? And after that kind of historical happenings, the standard setter said we should let everybody know how big these liabilities are, because they are big. Now, you participate along with the state and along with every single other school district, and our cities participate in the state with Texas Municipal Retirement System, and the county participates in Texas County District Retirement System. They have similar type, although benefits are different and contribution rates are different, they have similar type pension obligation that's being presented in their report. So it's a good question. It's a complicated footnote. It's the largest footnote in the financial statement. It's 5 or 6 pages, and it is complicated. Yes, sir. Yeah. It is a good question, and
Just 2 questions left. The pilot receipt, and I know where it pretty much comes from. There's nothing in a requirement that would say a pilot can be returned back to the agency funding it if an MOU or an agreement for those types of services can be tied to that pilot. And the reason I ask is these pilots come from the San Benito Housing Authority. These are state requirements to fund based on their income, and the calculation literally comes from the agency. It's not developed by the school district.
We're talking about a pilot, we're talking about payment in lieu of taxes?
Payment
Right.
in lieu of taxes, correct. Other agencies or other school districts and other municipalities get into agreements with the entity that pays the pilot for services rendered. They'll forgive the pilot or return the pilot. The reason I ask this is because the San Benito Housing Authority has an MOU for development activity with the school district under the CATE program.
Okay.
And I know that they're running short on the funds that support that CATE and that MOU. So my question is, from an auditor's perspective, there is no issue if at one point or another the school district got into an MOU to return that pilot with a specific purpose.
I'm not aware, Mr. Padilla, of whether there would be an issue with that. The first thing I'd probably want to inquire about, and I'd have to do a little bit of research for you, but maybe Ms. Rondon is familiar with this. The payment in lieu of taxes doesn't work similar to the collection of property taxes and impact your state funding if you don't receive that pilot. So that'd be the first thing I'd say. Okay. We know that property taxes has an impact on school funding, and so I don't know of any restrictions that would make that.
And I apologize for posing the question to you from an auditor's perspective, because it really isn't on the audit.
Right. That's
But
right.
from an auditor's
Probably a legal question.
it's illegal, but an auditor's
Yeah.
perspective is sometimes good advice.
Yes, yes, sir.
So, and the last question I have is just, or really it's not a question, more of just a comment. I like the fund balance as where we ended compared to where we've been.
Right,
So-
and your financial statements do reflect, a healthy increase in fund balance, which probably brings you to a point of where you ought to be, because you were certainly probably much lower than you should have been in the prior year, and that's a good point that you're making.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Do you need any more clarification from Mr. Rendon? Mr. Rendon is in the audience?
No,
Addition?
actually, this is more a financial question that I'll probably bring back to our attorney and our finance director. The reason on the pilot I posed the question to the auditor is because I generally like to get an auditor's opinion on some transactions, because sometimes they'll tell us ahead of time, no, you shouldn't do that.
Right, and it'd be good, glad to talk to you about that. If we put a dollar amount to the financial impact of that, it'd make it relevant as well, so.
Okay, no more questions? Any questions? Okay, go ahead.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion by Mr. Padilla, second by Mr. Medrano. All those in favor? All those against?
Thank you.
Motion passes. Agenda item number 11. Closed meeting, discussion under the authority of the Texas Government Code 551071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney on any subjects or matters authorized by law. 551.074 for the purpose of appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. A, employment, resignation, and retirements. B, superintendent of schools evaluation. We convene into closed session at exactly 8:15 p.m. We reconvene into open meeting at exactly 10:05, and at this time, I will pass it over to Dr. Vega.
Thank you, Madam President. In terms of item A, I would like to recommend the employment, resignations, and retirements as discussed in executive session.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mr. Mendez and second by Mr. Vargas. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Agenda item number 12 is adjournment, and this meeting will adjourn at exactly 10:06 p.m.